Oh, hey, Mina.
Hey there.
Brian ain't disconnected his
I'm
audio.
trying to. Give me a second.
I
All
know.
right. There we go. Mute the computer. Just hit the mute button. No, it's on on the top.
How you doing, girl?
All right, there we go. Sorry, everybody. We have been running like a chicken with our head cut off today.
Hi, Rita.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
All right, all right, all right. Hold 1 second.
Sure did.
Rest of it is irrelevant. All right, all right, all right.
Hey, everybody. We still trying to get it together over here. We almost there.
There you go. All right, y'all. We ready now. I hope that y'all had a great week, great weekend. We have been having a good week, good weekend. Definitely been some challenges, but um, you learn that on the journey of your faith. Like challenges just come with the process. So I'm cool with it all. I trust God. Many of you, those of you who have been with us already for a while, those of you who are just getting with us, the last few months we've been dealing with getting back to our first love. And so a lot of the theme and the discussions that we've been having the last few weeks have been about pointing us back to our first love, which is Christ, getting back to our love for God, following God, trusting God, leaning into God, all of the beautiful nature of things as it relates to recultivating the fire, the intimacy, and the relationship that we had with God. And so today we're going to talk about the way we react is a spiritual problem. The way we react is a spiritual problem. Focus scripture will be James chapter 1, verses 19 through 20, and it reads, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." All right. And so many of us know, I'm gonna use myself as an example. There are days when being slow to speak is a lot easier than others. Really circumstantial and situational. But I really want to get to the place where God, I have control of it and I'm surrendered to him in it in every facet and not just with selective situations. Right. Sometimes people we see not as frequently, sometimes it's easier to deal with than people we see frequently, like your children or your spouse or, coworkers, right? Like those people that we deal with on the consistent and the regular basis, sometimes those are the places where it's harder to watch what you say. So this today, we're gonna just delve into that for a little while. First question, all right. When something catches you completely off guard, your default reaction is A, go loud, say exactly what you feel immediately. B, go cold, shut down and pull back. C, go silent and pretend it's fine until it's not. Or D, go internal and spiral in your head but show nothing.
Mhm.
When something catches you completely off guard, your default reaction is A, go loud, that's say exactly what you feel immediately. B, go cold, shut down and pull back. C, go silent, pretend it's fine until it's not. Or D, go internal and spiral in your head but show nothing.
And you can drop your comments either in the feed on the Facebook Live or in the comments on the
Social
the
places.
Zoom and just any social place. But everybody can drop a comment.
All right.
So I'm gonna take mine first.
Go ahead.
I'm a silent person. I'm a silent, but it's not until it's not good. I'm a silent. I'm a spiral silent, and then figure out that it was already good in the first place.
So you like a CD.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. I'm more like a DA, right? Like bits according to the person in place. Yeah. I'm more like a DA. So I go internal and I'm processing it. And sometimes that's just as dangerous because the more I process it, the more I'm really trying to determine how I feel about whatever happened or what transpired. And then I'm gonna say exactly what I feel. Probably not immediately, but immediately after I come to the conclusion of what I think or what I've processed, it's probably gonna be a response for sure.
Fair.
I think I'm more in line with Brian. Excuse me. I am going to go silent, but I'm naturally observant. I'm always paying attention. So I'm gonna go silent, but I'm not gonna spiral. I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on, and I'm just gonna take in the details. Then, if something needs to be said, I'll say it. But if not, I'm gonna move on. I don't waste my words no more. I used to, but sometimes you don't need to say anything.
And I think for me, it's also the understanding that there are places we gotta heal in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a combination of my faith. It's also in connection to my upbringing and my experiences. And so what I mean by that is that I went through this season in my life where silence was required, right? And so what I learned about myself was in that required silence, it developed resentment towards the idea of being silent. So that when I got old enough that silence wasn't the mandate and silence wasn't the requirement, now I'm gonna tell you what I think. Now I'm gonna tell you how what you did made me feel, right? And sometimes that's not the right thing either, right? Like there's a time and a place, right? So there's a time and a season when God says, okay, I need you to correct this, not out of anger, right? But to make sure that this behavior, this situation doesn't transpire again. But even in correcting it, there is a way that I need you to correct it. There is a way that I require you to correct it. And so my advice to you is to really seek God with your behavior and understanding what it is that God is expecting from you when you are frustrated about something, right? And dealing with traumas, the things that triggered you, the things that you experienced in your childhood, right? Like your default reaction isn't just personality trait. It's a window into what's been formed in you, and what's been formed can be reformed. It's the understanding that my trauma, what I don't like sometimes in today's culture is that we use traumas and triggers as excuses to stay in a place instead of saying, I recognize that this is a trauma that has created a trigger, but now I can make some changes and some decisions that makes me handle those situations better or different.
Right.
Question number 2. Be honest. The last time you reacted badly, what was actually underneath it? A, fear. I was scared and didn't want to admit it. B, pride. I felt disrespected and needed to defend myself. C, pain. Something old got triggered and came out sideways. Or D, honestly, I still don't know. It just came out. Be honest. The last time you reacted badly, what was actually underneath it? A, fear. I was scared and didn't want to admit it. B, pride. I felt disrespected and needed to defend myself. C, pain. Something old got triggered and came out sideways. Or D, honestly, I still don't know. It just came out. You want to go first?
Sure.
B and D.
B and D. Okay. I would say C. C for me. I didn't know. That's the crazy part. I didn't know I was hurting in that place until something was said to me, and I responded that in that way. I didn't even know I was hurting that place. I was like, oh, okay. Now I need to reassess myself because I didn't know that place was still tender. And you know what I'm saying? I thought I had healed from that. I mean, it's been a while. I thought I, was a little more mature, a little more moved on, a little more stable, but I wasn't until I think it was the right person to say it to me. The right person had that I want to say that proximity, that closeness to me, that it mattered when they said it. Because anybody else could have said it, it probably would have. I'd have been like, oh yeah, I'm still healed. But it took the right person to say it to me, for me to have that response.
I would say, hold on. Oh, okay. I forgot my answer. I would say mine isn't quite on there. It's overstimulation. So if you coming at me with too many things at once, it's like random, just that's too much. I'm gonna need you to slow it down. I need you to give me a minute to process all of this. So if I like respond like that, which is rare now because that's something I really had to work on because I grew up in a family of women just yeah, and so I didn't want to be like that. And so that's something I've really focused on. But when I do, it's because it's just like I need a minute. It's just too many things flowing in at one time. So it's like being overstimulated.
I would say for me, it's going to be B and C. It's going to be I felt disrespected and needed to defend myself. And something old got triggered and came out sideways. It was like a compound
That's
of
a
a
very
thing.
man answer. They're being disrespected.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Disrespect is like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
It was
being serious about that.
yeah, and it was bad. It was a flesh thing, no, for sure. And let me tell you, I feel like one of the things that we try or desire to do here on this platform is to be very transparent, right? I'm pretty open of a book, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. It affected me so bad, it sent me to therapy. Like, it sent me back to therapy. I was like, oh, I need to call my therapist. Like, we need to pick these meetings back up, right? Because it was like, why did I get that upset? And the crazy part is, I have a great life partner. Let me say that. I mean, like, toot her horn. I have a great life partner. So when I can normally gauge the severity of a situation, not just by my faith, but also by my partner, right? Like, if I look at my partner and she's not responding, then I'm like, why was I that upset? Like, I'm processing that, right? Then there are moments when she's very upset and I'm not upset, and I'm like,
It's not that big of a deal. Why are you upset?
yeah, like, so, like, there's this gauge kind of right back and forth, but even when those emotions arise, I realized I had to go to God to find out why. And so I went to therapy so that I could deal with the physical thing, but I went to God so that I could deal with the spiritual root of the thing. And it went back to what you all heard me saying at the beginning of this was it was rooted. It was trauma from roots. It was from being told, like, not that you didn't have an opinion or not to say anything. It was just know your place. And so then you get older and you don't understand what that place is. So it's like, as a kid, I have a kid's place, but now I'm 40 years old and I'm still trying to figure out, oh, well, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. No, the person I'm dealing with is 42. Like, we both grown. Like, we gonna talk about it like grown folk. And don't mean I gotta disrespect you, but I also don't have to run away from the confrontation of saying, this affected me, this is why it affected me, and this is why I responded that way. And so it's understanding that it's not really, and I love the reflection. I'm gonna read it. It says, the reaction is never really about the moment. It's about what the moment touched, right? It's about when you find the root, you stop just managing behavior and start experiencing real change. It's figuring out, like, in such the spiritual sense, why did I get that upset that I responded that way in that moment?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And being honest enough and open enough with God to say it, but then being vulnerable enough with God to be able to be corrected.
Yeah.
Because we like to go to God with stuff. But the truth of the matter is, even after God tell you what it is he told you, the question is, can you process it? And let me say this too, and we're going to go to the next question. Because sometimes how God corrects you is through people. And sometimes we don't want to be subject to the person God sent to bring the correction, right? Like, I ain't going to hold you. There's been times when my dad has to correct me about a thing that I'm really not cool with the fact that me and him got to have this discussion. But the truth is, God sent him with intention. Either A, because he knew that I cared enough about what he thought to say it, or B, he knew that he had enough experience in it and also enough honesty within himself to say, you don't need to do that thing. Like today, like again, transparent. We got a call back from the bank and it was like, well, we got this little situation you need to fix. And I started panicking. I called my dad. Pop, this was going on, what do you think? Son, I just think we just need to pray about it. That's not what I wanted to hear. That's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted you to give me some philosophical. And so I called him back later and he said, here was the correction. You've been talking about trusting God. You going to trust him or you not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You going to let him handle it or you won't? Because there are times when there's a no in the door because God's trying to protect you from something. And there's times when there's a no at the door, not because God's trying to protect you from anything, but he's trying to get something out of you, right? God, I trust you. Okay, I done my part. I done what I'm supposed to do. I done brought the correction at the level I'm supposed to correct. The rest of this belongs to you. And so it's understanding God in those moments and in those ways.
Yeah.
Question number 3. James 1:19 says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Most of us operate as, I'm going to reword that question. Oftentimes I operate, or there have been moments when I operate as A, quick to react, slow to listen. I'm already formulating my response. B, quick to shut down, slow to speak. I hold it in and let it rot. C, quick to assume and slow to ask. I've already decided what happened. And D, honestly, it depends on who it is and how much I care.
It's a D for me.
Honestly, it depends on who it is and how much I care. James 1:19 says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Which one best resembles you? A, quick to react, slow to listen. B, quick to shut down, slow to speak. C, quick to assume and slow to ask. Or D, honestly, it depends on who it is and how much I care.
It's sad to say that, but it's definitely a D for me. And this is what I would do though. It depends on who it is and how much I care. If I'm quick to respond, because if it's not anybody I care about, like your opinion of me, to go back and battle it and change it. It's just like, you could think what you want to think. I know who I am. It don't change. Your thought of me doesn't change me. Your thought of me doesn't change. What the old saying was, it doesn't change my pay grade. Your thought of me. Like, and if I keep showing up like who I am, eventually you'll see that your thought of me it's not true. And whatever you heard is not true. My fruit is gonna show.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much I care. If I really care and I really want you to see, that I'm not whatever that thing is, then I'll spend the time. I'll invest the time. But if not, hey, you'll see over time. I'm not who you think I am.
I'm like that, period. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter who it is, but to me, I think about what the subject matter is.
Yeah.
Is this something that I need to clear up?
Mhm.
Is it beneficial for me to take the time? Is this important enough? Like, no, I need to clear this, or not? And most times for me, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going
Like,
to
okay.
see if you took the time to assume and not ask questions, then I'm gonna let you sit with that till you have a conversation. Because like Brian said, we're grown, or you'll just see.
Mhm.
But because you can't go around trying to explain everything all the
Prove
time.
yourself.
No.
And I don't care. I don't even have the desire to prove anything to anybody. And it took me a long time to care. So depends on what it is. Is it affecting something that we're doing where it has to be addressed? But if not, I'm gonna let you sit with that until you see,
Yeah.
or until the Lord tell me go talk to them.
That part.
If
Now,
he say
if
go,
the Lord say go, I'm going.
if he say go, then I'm gonna have to go.
yeah.
But other than that,
Other than that, it's okay.
I'm already
Bye.
down the street, around the corner.
Okay, so I wish that I was.
Somebody say A, C, and D.
I wish I was like the ladies. Yep, I was about to say I wish I was
Okay.
like the ladies. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it's A for me.
I know.
But I'm getting better because. Okay, back up. So I have been told by numerous people, including my spouse, that I am I'm a quick thinker. Like I'm already processing. I process fast. So
like 12 steps.
yeah. So like while
already.
you're
Like
talking,
the
I'm
yes,
already
the
like
no's,
I'm listening to you, but I'm processing. So because I'm processing, it's dangerous, right? I'm learning to process here silently, but I typically used to process out loud. So if you said something and I disagreed with it, you probably gonna hear my rebuttal or my disagreement out loud because I'm processing out loud. My wife has taught me very much so to process within, and the way she taught me is that I say stuff and I hurt her feelings sometimes, and I don't realize I hurt her feelings, and hurting her feelings wasn't the intentions. I was processing like how something made me feel. I wasn't mad. I wasn't aggressive. It's just what I said was like, man, you hurt my feelings. So if you care about somebody enough and you say, I don't want to hurt their feelings, then you start processing internally and you speak only when it's necessary. For me, it was always necessary. Now it's not as necessary.
Yeah, his face will still tell you though.
Yeah, that's what I was.
His
That's
face
what I
will be
say. My
like,
face will still tell you. I don't know. I don't know how to do that.
I'm working through it. I'm
I
not.
don't
Yeah,
know
my
how to
face
do
will tell
that.
you. I'm
I
with
may
you.
not say anything, but if you look me in my eye, you can be like, "Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and when you know the person, you be like, now I'm done talking. Because now you ain't listening. You done checked out. You done stopped at this line. But we can't even continue this conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was a time, honestly, in my life, early on in my life, when C was an answer. When it was quick to assume and slow to ask. When I had already assumed what it was, what the intent was, and what the situation was, and no, I wasn't gonna argue with you about it. I just decided I'm not dealing with the situation, or I'm not dealing with you, or I'm like whatever the no deal is in that scenario. That became the no deal, only to get down the road and have a discussion and discover it really wasn't what you thought it was, but because you didn't ask or you didn't say, you formulated an assumption and you sat in that. And what's dangerous about sitting in the assumptions is that that's where the enemy begins to play. He plays in your thoughts, right? He begins to play in your mind, and really what's worse is that there are relationships that have been severed, that have been disconnected for years. Some people have died and left this world on a lie because you assumed and you didn't ask. You just and I get it. I think this pours back into that. When it's somebody or a situation you don't care about, not asking is irrelevant. But let's refrain for a moment that if it hurt me enough to be upset and upset enough to like walk away at the way I walked away. Walking away isn't the issue, but it made me upset enough to walk away the way that I walked away. There's a possibility that person meant a little bit more than I'm giving the situation credit for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because there's some people we didn't say that didn't matter, but the way we reacted to what they did lets me know that they mattered maybe a little bit more than we gave them credit for in our lives. And so the truth is are there relationships? You have to ask yourself, are there relationships that I've walked away from assuming that it brought no value or it didn't matter, but the way I walked away lets me know it affected me. It bothered me. It hurt me. You know what I mean? Like those are things that we have to.
Have to consider.
Yeah,
I mean, I
and-
used to be a quick to shut down, slow to speak, and then hold it till it rots. Because I would do like, I ain't gonna hold you. I would get upset in a conversation, and all of my family knew it was like a 3-month rule before you could even text me again. Like I used to be so check off the list. You said something about my kids, something about me. That's all right. We don't got to talk. We don't have to talk at all. Like, I don't care who you are. But I had to realize too that was a lot of me. I'm a lot of hurt on me. And it was like I didn't want to have the conversation. I still don't like having tough conversations, but I know they're important. It's important to have a tough conversation with somebody that you love and somebody that you care for, somebody that you want to spend time with.
Yeah, she married to me. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we have
And-
tough conversations.
But he a talker. He like to talk about everything. And sometimes like he'll revisit the talk and sometimes I'll be done with the talk the first time. But it's like he
But-
come
but-
back with new notes.
No, you know-
wait,
no, you know what it
I
is?
didn't get to say this
Wait,
part.
let me tell you what it's like. That's not what the problem is. You ever got into an argument with somebody and you didn't say it? You walked away, and then when you got away, you thought about all of the things you could have
That's
said or
exactly
should have
what I
said.
said.
So then I'd be like, hold on.
No, I'm gonna say these.
No,
key
hold on,
things.
because you think you won that one. So hold on, let me go back. This and this and that and this, and she'd be like, I was over it already. So who, like, whatever. And I'm
Like,
so then
okay.
you leave like, oh, they ain't gonna talk to me tonight. But let me say this to you. It says that God's sequence isn't just wisdom, it's protection. When we flip it, we don't just damage relationships, we block the very thing he's trying to produce in us through that moment. Like,
Sharon was gonna say something.
Oh.
What?
Oh, we done moved on.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
we block the very thing he's trying to produce in us through the moment. I kid you not. In my life right now, I'm trying to be better at paying attention to the moments, like understanding what God is saying and doing and dealing with me in the moments. It doesn't mean that it doesn't become stressful. It doesn't mean that it doesn't become hard or complicated, but it means, God, in this stressful, complicated moment, what's the message? What's the lesson? You know, what are you trying to pour into me or draw out of me? Like, and sometimes that's a hard question to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how severe the moment feels. But the truth is that at some point, even on an 8 or on a 9 in emotion and feelings of how the situation feels, I still got to find my way back to God and figure out what God's intentions was in that moment.
And I think too, like, me staying present in the moment allows me to enjoy the journey. Because sometimes we just so ready to get to the next thing that we don't enjoy the journey. And even with this process, with this thing today, it was like, but I'm glad that did come up now. You know what I'm saying? Because if it would have came up later on, it could have did something else. But God, like, fix all of the things now. You want me to go into this situation whole. And that's where I desire to be. I desire to be whole in the new situation, not, okay, in the new situation and still carrying stuff from before. Like, I want everything to be, I want it to be fresh. I want it to be restored. I want it to be like, I want it to be whole. And I thank God even in the process of it all, because man, you learn so many new things, not just about buying a house, but about yourself. And then like places where I needed to grow, places where I needed to mature, like spiritual maturity, mental maturity, knowing I can't let my happiness waver because of small things. And it's like, man, if the small things can steal my joy, how important is my joy to me? If small things can steal my day, how important is my day to me? So even in this whole process, I am learning about myself. I'm grateful for the process. So I want to stay rooted in the moment, thinking about the good things that are still happening in the moment, keeping them on highlight and enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
So,
because
okay.
God's timing is His timing,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
us being in a hurry to hurry up and get to whatever just frustrates us.
Mm-hmm.
He not gonna hurry up because we want him to hurry up. So we just slow down and get in step with him. It'll actually be a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
but that takes actually trusting him, what he's doing, and what his plan is, what his will is. And so that that's more for us. Always is for us. He don't need nothing from us. So that whole rushing thing, I had to learn that, and it's so much more peace
Yeah.
when you slow down and just okay, Lord, I'm gonna go at your pace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm where you are.
I'm steady.
Yeah, I'm where you are, and because like I said, rushing just frustrates you because you just spinning the wheel like a hamster,
Mm-hmm.
going nowhere, frustrated, angry, impatient, and all this stuff is rising up, and you still gonna get there when he said you gonna get there.
Exactly. When he
100%.
said
It's
you
not gonna
arrived,
change.
No.
but even then too, like you think about it because even when you arrive to that thing, it's always something new to do. It's always something else. And so it's kind of like too, I have been thinking, um, God, I know this new thing is the new thing, but I want to see what you have for me to do outside of this thing. Because this thing, it's for me. And but I still want to see what you want me to do for you, even while I'm in this thing. And so if I keep my focus still too on what God has called me to do, even while I wait, called me to do even while I'm in the process, that need to be more of my focus than I being consumed about the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. It's a real one. Okay. Y'all ready? Which relationship exposes your worst reactions most often? A, family. The people who knows exactly which buttons to push. B, romantic relationships. Love makes everything feel higher stakes. C, work or school. Stress plus people plus no escape. Or D, myself. I'm actually my worst trigger.
I know my answer.
Which relationship exposes your worst reaction most often? A, family. B, romantic relationships. C, work or school. Or D, myself.
Oops, somebody say A. Okay, A. I know my answer. Y'all want me to go first?
You can.
It's a B for me. It's a B for me.
What's B?
B is
Me.
Your
B is me.
You want to know why though? Let me tell you why. This is why mine is a B. Because who can see me better than the person I'm with every day, all day? It's like like you get the reflection of yourself. You when I say I have seen so much maturity in myself since I got married. I
Yeah, you trying to pick your words wisely?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Pick them wisely. I'm listening.
Because my husband holds me accountable. He holds me accountable. And I have had to change some things that I was doing or saying or how I was handling situations. Like I literally had a conversation with my mother-in-law because we talk often. I had a conversation with my mother-in-law the other day, and we were talking about how sometimes Brian will say something to me, and my response is yes, sir. But my response is yes, sir, because I'm being sarcastic. And I said, Lord, you know my heart. So it's not the things that come out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's my heart when I say it. You know I was being smart. So it's like, okay, I need to check myself even in that. And so even with my spouse, because because sometimes I can be really silly, and sometimes I'm being smart, and I know that. So I was telling her, I was like, girl, I know I need to work on that. I hadn't even said it to my husband yet, but I was telling it to her, and I was like, Lord, I need you to hold me accountable. I told his mom, I was like, I need you to hold me accountable because I need to work on it because God sees my heart. And those are the little things. And so if I can establish it in my relationship, then I can establish it in the world. You know what I'm saying? And with other people. And so that way, that's why I say my partner. And plus with my partner, I can let my hair down. And when I'm not my best, he sees it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely say B for me.
You want to go first? Next? Or you want me to go next?
You can go. Let me think about it.
Yeah, I'm struggling too because I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm looking at A, B, C, and D, and really, it's not C because work and school don't really like yes and no, right? And I say yes and no. Ministry sometimes can bring those reactions because
Yeah.
you get frustrated with people, right? And a person once told me, like, don't let what you called to do keep you from what you called to do, right? And the calling in ministry is first to God for sure, but the calling in servitude is to people. And so you can't get frustrated sometimes, so frustrated sometimes that you find yourself in one of these categories because of the people God has called you to serve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I find myself in that because I kid you not, I probably got more war wounds on my tongue from biting my tongue dealing with the people of God than I probably do anybody else because like she said, at home, you bite your tongue in how you say it, but you're more at liberty to say what you're thinking at home. You're more at liberty to say what you think to family. And to be honest with you, I'm probably also more at liberty to say what I feel when I'm dealing with me. Cause I'm straight with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and what I mean by that is when I talk to me, I don't have to run no filters and I don't have to, have no bypasses. I can just say it to me how I'm feeling in the moment. Just being honest. Today I was like, it's your fault. All of this that's going on right now is your fault because you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you did. And I started spiraling into it's on me because in my mind at the moment, the weight of that was on me. Then in the quiet of my moment, God was like, it is not on you. It's not on you. Where and when I choose to expose a layer of something that needs to be fixed in your world and in your life and in your seasons, that's mine to expose and yours to just submit when I expose it. To be honest with you, the situation that needed to be taken care of, if I be transparent, I probably couldn't have taken care of it 6 months ago. Let's just be real. I couldn't have. So ain't no use in being frustrated about it. Should have came up 6 months ago because 6 months ago we couldn't have done nothing about it. 6 months later, oh, don't worry about it. I take care. Y'all got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say like those worst reactions are normally dealing with those places within myself and in those places where God has not released me or freed me to say what I probably want to say, but God knows probably don't need to be said.
I would say in general, it'd probably be whatever relationships you have the most value, like that you value the most.
Yeah.
So for me right now, that would be my children. It's because I care so much about what's in their minds and what decisions are they gonna make. My oldest be graduating soon.
I know.
And
It's like, ooh.
and she has a really good head on her shoulders, to be honest with you. God did, let the kids say God did his big one, because there was a time where I don't know where she got it from. The Lord did that.
Yeah.
But I came in and now I'm there. And so it would be them, because I'm pouring, those are the relationships that I'm pouring the most into right now. I'm giving the most time, the most attention. That's my main focus. As a parent, like, I just got this aha about how serious it is to raise children.
Yes.
And so I'm like, okay, Lord. And the enemy try, oh, it's too late for this, too late for that. And Lord's like, no, it's not. Start here. So it would be them, just their response to, sometimes you feel like kids don't, and they may not just get it because they're not parents, don't reciprocate gratitude and stuff like that. Like you think, like, come on, y'all see what I'm doing? And I'm going to do it because I'm your parent. You don't owe me, but it's just nice to get a thank you sometimes,
For sure. For sure.
And so
You say that a little louder because we're in the house with the
Touch
rest of my children.
That's a little soft spot.
yeah, it's just that's kindness, just to say thank you.
Yeah.
Or to show gratitude in some way. You may not say thank you, but you may do something that
Yeah.
says,
Like, let me clean the house.
yeah, that says, oh, you know what? Let me think of someone outside of myself.
Mm.
But anyway, this is not a kids episode. So, yeah, that for me would be my children. Yeah, just trying to. That's where my most valued time is spent right now in my
Yeah.
life.
So let me read the reflection. The reflection says, wherever you're triggered is where God is most interested in doing the work. That person, that place, that situation, it's not a distraction from your growth. It is your growth. I'm going to say this. What was big on that for me was understanding like that there are things that I want to shy away from, that God is saying to really grow, I need you to
Gotta lean
lean
in.
into it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy. Right. We are very selective in what we want to lean into,
Who wants
It's-
to lean into being hurt?
especially when you can predict or control. Let me use the right word. When you can control the outcome. When God calls you to lean into something that you have no control of the outcome, that's where it becomes complicated.
Mhm.
Right. But leaning into the things that we can control, we lean into those. I don't have a problem with that. But the things where I know I can't predict the outcome, I don't know what it's going to be like, I kid you not. This whole house hunting process, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But then at the same time, my wife has hit such a valuable point. We have grown so much in our faith, in our declaration, in how we stand with each other, and how we support one another. We have become each other's best correction, because when I'm like not feeling it, she like, okay, you need to fix your spirit. And when she's like not feeling it, I'm like, what you worried about? God either got it or you don't. And it's crazy because it's some days it's such a push and a pull, meaning some days is me and some days is her. And some days, you know what I mean? It's such a push and a pull. But the reality is that God is teaching us how to understand the process and then how to stand together in the process. But then even when we go our separate ways, when she's off at work and I'm working, or when when I run to the grocery store, the behavior that God is cultivating, when it's taking root, it's processing even when we're not in each other's company, because it's a God thing, it's a Brian and God thing and a Vanessa and God thing, not a Brian and Vanessa thing that God has just happened to be a part of, Next question. How often do you take a reaction to God before you respond? Not after. How often do you take a reaction to God before you respond? A, consistently. I've built that muscle. B, sometimes when I remember or when it's a big deal. Or C, rarely. I usually pray about it after I've already done the damage. Or D, never. Real talk, that's not something I do yet. How often do you take a reaction to God before you respond? Before you respond. A, consistently. B, sometimes. C, rarely. D, never.
Yeah, come on, B.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna say a B plus for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say more like a very not consistent, but like
Yeah.
a very often.
Yeah, I'm a
but
B
more than
plus for me.
sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes where something might catch you off guard and you like, what? At first. And then there's other times where it's like, okay, I realize I'm in a fight. Not like a physical fight, but in a spiritual fight. I
Mhm.
realize I'm in a fight. And so, okay, I know what to do. But with the times that you don't realize it, you just like, what? And then you have the spiral, the spiral of things that I want to say, and it's like, oh wait, I'm in a fight, and then I'm like, oh okay, I know what this is now. I need to do this. I know what this is now. I need to be quiet. I recognize it, but it's sometimes it get away from me before I recognize what it is.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's a consensus here, kind of a B
She
plus.
said, "I'll try a C plus." Come on.
Yeah, B plus, B plus plus, right? B plus minus, somewhere in the B's, right? And the only reason I say that is because like, I am intentional. That's the word. I am becoming more intentional about bridling my tongue, holding my tongue, right? And processing my emotions before I speak it. I'm very analytical.
That's a sweet spot.
It-
I've gotten there.
Yeah, and it takes work,
Mhm.
especially when you are a I don't care person, it probably doesn't affect you. But when you're a very analytical, like like you just said earlier, I pay attention to the details.
Mhm.
Like I'm looking at the details. That's where control of the tongue becomes more complicated because as I really processing what I'm seeing, I'm either becoming more upset or feeling more guilty. Like I probably could have handled that differently, right? And I'm learning how to be like my wife in that my wife makes it her regular declaration that she tries to process what she's gonna say before she said it because she don't want to have to apologize. It's not the lack of desire to say I'm sorry for me. It's not the lack of desire to say I'm sorry for me. It's the feeling that guilt and that emotion that guilt feels like for me when I know I'm not the type of person who can wrong somebody and then just keep it pushing. I'm not the type of person who could say the wrong thing to a person and just keep it moving. I'm just not wired like that. And I don't know if it's because of my own experiences and my own traumas that make me feel like sometimes we hold people in such levels of bondage by not going back and acknowledging that they were right and we handled it wrong, right? That it's that spiral that makes me desire to go to God with it before I unleash the wrath.
I want to add something to that because this is what God got me today, and He was like, so after we had our little conversation, and then I went into the room, so I was quiet. I was like, okay, watch what you say, Vanessa. Watch what you say. You have what you say because He was talking to me about that this morning. Before I went to work, He was like, watch your confession. I was like, okay. So I already knew we was in a fight. I didn't know what the fight was. I just knew we was in a fight. So this morning I was watching my confession. Then later when this situation came up, then so the first thing that I want to do is Google it or ChatGPT it or whatever. And he was like, why are you searching for answers outside of me if you say you trust me? So I was like, I ain't even gonna touch it. Because that'd be the first thing that you want to do. And he was like, now you going for the worst case scenario, but I've already told you this is finished and this is done. So why are you even trying to consume yourself with the other thoughts, when I've already given you what to think? So I was like, okay, I ain't gonna look. And now he was like, and let that be your response. Let that always be your response. Don't go seek somebody else's answer of what something is going to be. Seek mine. Don't go call somebody and ask them their opinion. Seek mine and stand in mine. And I was like, okay, and that's literally something he has instructed me, because I'm still learning today, from this morning to now, is to not go searching the internet. The internet can be the worst thing when you already have a question in your mind, because then you'll start spiraling and going.
And you'll always
into,
find something that can support it.
yeah,
Like you'd be like, "Ooh, my stomach upset. I think I might have stomach cancer." And then you start looking up on the internet, and
These
before
are the
you know it,
symptoms of
these are
stomach
symptoms.
cancer.
Oh God, I got stomach cancer. And you start confessing, and God's like, "You ain't got no stomach cancer. You got
Yeah.
gas and and acid reflux. Go to
Stop
the
eating
doctor.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I told you to stop eating weeks ago.
Like, and so it's like if you go to the internet, and it's so great you shared that, because I'm not gonna lie to you. When we first got the information, I was all over the internet, Chat GPT, Claude, Google. I'm like, how can I fix this? And I really believe it was crazy, because as I went to panic, something in me just kept saying, like, don't worry about this. Like, you got this. This is small and it'll be done.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, God, but I need you to move fast. Like, I've been waiting a long time now. I need swift movement. And God's like, it's going to happen. Like Sharon just said, it's going to happen when it happens. So live in the peace, trust me, and chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So Sharon, what was yours?
Mine was what I said? Very often. That's the question we on, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess just because I've learned how to the whole being slow to speak. I'm doing well in it right now. So because I'm not automatically having a thought that I want to say, um, I pause. I pause. Okay, what's going on? What's this? And I think what's made it easier, honestly, for your mind to go to God first is if you've already been spending time with Him.
Yeah.
So if you've already been that day reading scripture or had time of worship or had time of prayer, then He's at the forefront of your mind already. So when something comes up, it's like a knee jerk reaction. I'm like, okay, God, what's that?
It's like,
Because
a distraction. Oh, no.
yeah, when something comes up, because He's already in your mind, you've already spent time with Him. Your spirit is, filled. So when something pops up, whatever's been on your mind the most is what's gonna come out. So that's what I saw helping me, because I used to be not very often. I'm immediately trying to figure out, how it's like single mom stuff is.
Yeah.
You immediately trying to figure out how I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
But when I've spent time with God first in the mornings and stuff before I get going, and something pop up, it don't really shake me. I don't have the urgency. I don't have the panic. I'm like, okay, so what we doing? So that's important to like help regulate your thoughts and where your thoughts go throughout the day.
Oh, I was gonna read it because this is what God gave me this morning when He gave me that thought of like we in a fight. It says, I love what God says. I was supposed to say, I love what God say, not just His hand. So I gotta seek what He says, period, and not just what I've read from somebody else's stuff or what I've consumed from ChatGPT or whatever, or consumed from somebody else's idea of whatever the thing is. But it's like I have to love what God says and not His hand. His hand sometimes gonna look shaky. Like like it's gonna look like, okay, God, what are you doing? Like this looks like a storm. And you got me sitting here in the middle of it. But He was like, but Vanessa, ain't you good? Is you wet? Like, you're not. You're fine. So be focused on what I said.
All right. Next question. Has your reaction pattern ever damaged a relationship you actually cared about? A, yes, and that relationship healed. B, yes, and it never fully recovered. C, yes, and I'm still in the middle of the damage right now. Or D, not yet, but I can see where it's heading. Has your reaction pattern ever damaged a relationship you actually cared about? A, yes, and that relationship healed.
Come on, Carissa. I remember that relationship.
B, yes, and it never fully recovered.
Yes.
C, yes, and I'm still in the middle of the damage right now. D, not yet, but I can see where it's heading.
And B. For me, man, I could say I've been in all of the above.
Yeah.
I could say I've been all of the above, man. Like, um, being frankly honest, um, and it's hard. It's hard to know that I did or said something that um has made a person stumble. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it's hard. It's heavy, but it's kind of like I've asked for forgiveness from God because I don't even have the relationship or the reach for that person anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been in all of the above.
I think it'll be all of the above for me. I've been in all of the above. You agree, Shane? Or you have a different?
I would say A, and I mean I'm not in the middle of anything right now. Um, never fully recovered to me sounds like you tried to do something, but it's just still messy, and I'm not there either. But I can say that I had behaviors and reactions as a parent that was just unnecessary. You know, and my daughters are very. I got some. I got some really good girls, and they are really not grudge holders. And I don't know where they got that from. The Lord. I'm not a grudge holder either, to be honest. I really don't care. I'd have to care. I don't care enough to hold the grudge. I was like that when I was in the world. It's too much. So when my life started changing, they were like, okay. And it's like we moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fake, it's genuine. And so I'm grateful for that because I know that parents can do things or say things that can carry into adulthood very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like they just moved on. I mean, I did do some explaining. I did do some apologizing. Parents, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I do that all the time.
Okay. And behavior change just like you would want with any other relationship. So if I say, this is not something I'm proud of, I'm not going to talk to y'all like that, I'm not going to do it like that, then we're going to change our behavior. Just like if we were in a romantic relationship or a friendship and we would want them to change their behavior, like we're no different just because it's our children. So that's one that did see recover, did see damage from my reactions, and that's the main one.
Like I said,
Oh wait.
heavy on apologizing to my daughter when I'm wrong. Yeah. I think I could see throughout my life different seasons where each of those kind of, in one way or another, I've had lived in the variations of those.
Yeah.
I was just reminded. I gotta be.
I'm telling you, I've been.
I got
You're
some.
right.
I got
All
some
of the above.
I got some variations because I got some that like I got some relationships that I made the intentions to try to fix, and God said that not that something didn't transpire that was wrong, but that relationship was done, and I extended my apology. We tried to navigate through things, but it just was never the same again, right? But I want to say something to you because I know we're getting close to our time to close. I want to drop something to you. I want you to remember this. Here's 3 things. Remember to pause, to pray, then respond. Like, and if you
if necessary.
And if necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me throw that. Pause, pray, then if necessary, respond. Why am I saying that? Because the moment you practice that, instill it in your mind so that it begins to live in your spirit. Recite it, put it somewhere. Because as you live it and you process it, it'll become more behavior. And the more it becomes behavior, the more you'll understand the work that the pause really is doing. Because pause, like for me, I had to learn that pausing wasn't passive. And I thought it was for a while. I thought pausing was weakness. But pausing isn't passive. Pausing is actually giving breath to the situation, to give room for God to determine and to designate what's going to happen next. It's making sure that flesh doesn't win and flesh doesn't lead, but that the spirit does. And in the moment of offense, flesh can step into a position and into a place it has no business being. And so pausing to breathe gives me room not to diminish you. Pausing to breathe gives me room not to damage my witness. Pausing to breathe gives me room not to damage my spouse. Pausing to breathe gives me room not to damage my children. And so at some point, I need to pause. But what I do while I pause is important, because if I pause and all I'm doing is processing, I'm cultivating the time bomb to go off. But if I pause and I pray, if I pause and get before God with the emotion, if I pause and get before God with the situation, if I really take the time to get before God in that moment of pausing, God will give me the words to say, right? God will tell me what to say, or God will tell me to hush. And either one of those, in those seasons, they work, because at the end of the day, they serve the greater good and the greater intention, which is God's intention of making better out of us, but also bringing better out of the people we encounter. Listen, guys, it was great. We are going to pray, and then we're going to dismiss. If you have any prayer requests, drop them in the comment section. Father God, we thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to come before you in prayer. God, I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for the enlargement of our faith. I thank you for the enlargement of our territory. God, I thank you for the depths of our relationship with you as life and obstacles and situations happen, God, that they draw us near. God, I just pray, God, that you would touch the mouths of each and every individual represented here and those connected to people represented here, God, that as we look at our mouths as what it was really created, God, that life and death is in the power of the tongue, God, and that I should be mindful of what I speak and I release and I declare, God, over the lives of people or in the lives of people, even in the moments of frustration. The word of God says, be angry, but sin not. God, I don't want my words to become sin. I don't want my anger to become sin, God. So, God, give me the room, God, to grow in you. Give us the room to grow in you and to become better forms of ourselves. God, I pray for Mina, God. God, you touch her from the crowns of her head to the soles of her feet, God. There's a presentation coming, God. She's already gifted and equipped. She's already purposed and intended, God. Now bring out of her what you've already put inside of her. God, let her stand in the rooms that you called her to stand in and declare the things that you called her to declare, and watch, God, the world move at the mouth and at the gift, God, that you have given her, God, in this season of her life. God, I pray for each and every child represented, God, on this call, but also in the homes on these calls, God. God, touch our kids. God, the enemy is coming to steal, kill, and destroy, God. But I declare, God, that our children, God, are off limits. God, that our kids cannot be had, they can't be touched, they can't be stolen. God, we give them back to you, God, and we pray, God, that you protect them, keep them, God, the training that we've instilled in them, God, that they will raise up and grow up to be the men and women that you called them to be, God. And if by chance we've sown some bad seed, God, I pray for grace, God. I pray for mercy, God, for on the behalf of our children, but also on the behalf of their parents. God, these and many of the blessings we ask in your darling son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Love you
Amen.
guys. See you guys next
Bye.
week.